Iran's supreme leader this morning announced demonstrators in his country, calling them vandals and saboteurs. It is his first response to a new wave of deadly protests spreading across the country. For more on this, I'm joined by Eric Loeb. He's an associate professor of politics and international relations at Florida International University and a non-resident scholar in the Carnegie Middle East program. Professor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you've spent time in Iran. We've seen protests like this in the past. Is this one different, or is it, and this is sort of tragic and sad, but is it more of the same? Every couple of years, people take to the streets, the regime cracks down, and those protests die down.
Well, that's right. As you said, the regime, particularly since 2017, has been facing a major legitimacy crisis of nationwide protests every 2 to 3 years. And these protests are very similar to those in 2017 and 2019 in that they were started by economic grievances, and then they spread around the country and became politicized very quickly. And as you said, the regime is responding with an internet shutdown to prevent protesters from mobilizing, and with repression. We're seeing that the security forces started dispersing demonstrators with tear gas, but then resorted to arresting, detaining, beating, and killing more and more protesters.
So what do you make of these new comments then by Iran's supreme leader this morning?
Well, this is the second time that the supreme leader has spoken since these protests started almost 2 weeks ago. In his first round of comments, he tried to de-escalate the situation by distinguishing or differentiating between peaceful protesters and rioters. And this time in his comments today or yesterday, he actually did what he normally does and other Iranian leaders and officials do by affiliating or associating the protesters with President Trump himself and suggesting that they're foreign agents in an attempt to delegitimize them and encourage the security forces to crack down harder against them.
So the president of the United States has previously threatened a U.S. intervention if Tehran cracks down on protesters. But the government of Iran has responded to that, telling the president to worry about what's happening in this country. And you've seen the protests that are happening here and what's happened subsequent to those protests. But could this rhetoric from the president actually rally support for Tehran's government?
Well, I think the protesters inside Iran and even Iranians watching this in the diaspora are divided over this issue. I think there's a segment of them that would like to see the U.S. intervene again like it did in June when it directly attacked Iran to try to overthrow this regime that is less and less popular among a growing number of Iranians inside and outside the country. On the flip side, there are a number of Iranians who are concerned about this because the last time we did see the U.S. and Israel intervene in June, it left thousands of civilians killed, injured, and displaced. So there's a lot of division and polarization around this issue.
All right. Professor Eric Loeb, thank you very much for joining us. Really insightful. Appreciate it.